Order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with roll call.
Morgan is not here. Danielle here.
Darcy
here. Jeff.
Yep.
Nikki is
Nikki is
here.
here. Greg
Here.
Mindy
here.
What's next? Can we get any adjustments to the agenda? I don't have the adjustments needed. Approval.
Motion to approve.
I think a second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda approved. All right, first thing on the agenda is to accept Wade into the school board. Object.
Too late, Jeff. You missed that meeting.
So Wade, you can come up to the front and stand up. Right? You have it there? Okay.
To repeat after me.
Greg, you need to go closer to him because you need to shake his hand with him.
when you're done.
I'll come over to you.
I swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and that I will discharge faithful and the duties of the office in the school board.
I affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member
District 300 to the best of my judgment.
of Independent School District 300 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you, bud.
Glad to have you.
Welcome back, Wade. For the fun. Next on the agenda will be the election of the school board chair.
I nominate Wade Welper.
So I get a second nomination.
I'll second.
Do we have any other nominations for the school board chair? We only have one nomination. I guess we'll just do it this way.
Oh.
Who's in favor of having Wade as?
Those in favor of having Wade as board chair, say aye.
Pardon me.
Aye.
Aye.
Doesn't he have to accept the nomination first?
Oh, you're probably correct.
And then.
And then.
All right. Wade, do you accept the nomination?
Yeah.
for
Sure,
chair?
sure. Yeah, there, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Sorry.
You're fine.
Those in favor, I guess we'll get a discussion about that, right?
You can. Is there any discussion?
Any discussion? No discussion. Those in favor of Wade being board chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Wade is now school board chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wade.
Get the
Chairs.
You're in the hot seat now.
Bring your name tag. Bring your name tag and don't forget your jam.
My jam.
Thanks, buddy. Wade did.
just said.
Okay.
Well, I keep full circle. Very good. All right. I don't need.
All right.
I haven't done this, so I guess we're going to move along. Thank you for everybody having faith in me. It's all about the kids, and let's have a good time doing it. All right? Fantastic. All right. Announcements. Any announcements? Community input. Do we have any community input this evening? All right. I bet you we have a construction project up. Is that what you two fellows are here for? Remember we went over this before. All right. Here we go.
All right, guys, you don't know me, I'm Rick with Apex. Last time we talked, a lot has happened. If you haven't been to the school, this last week, even a lot on top of a lot really happened. So, out of the 11 units, we have 7 of them running. The other ones will be running, if not Friday, before coffee break Monday morning. And I say that because sometimes on Fridays, if it's not early enough in the day, I do not like to start them up. Because if there's going to be nobody around, anything can happen. I like to be there for a full day while they're first cycling and getting fired up. It's just a safety thing on my end. There's never really been any problems, but you never know when that first one's going to come along. So if we don't have the other 4 fired Friday, they will be Monday morning before first coffee break. So that's all good. Second good news, the kitchen. Done. And it's kind of funny. I'll go in the kitchen to do something, and I get locked out. The personnel have taken kind of charge in there, and they're getting things ready. The coolers are up and running. I think they've got some food delivery tomorrow morning. Yeah, she told me a semi was coming in. Had to get the dock all cleared off. So the coolers are up to temp. Everything's good there. Let's see what else. Gymnasium, of course, the air handler's running in there. That's been running for about a week. When I get there at 5:30 in the morning, it is in fact cool in there. It's 65 degrees in there because it's bringing outside air. Which brings me, Patrick, I'll be able to. I was just told today. You will not need to manual damper those. They'll have those over to you controlled by next week. Hopefully by Tuesday, Wednesday. So that'll all be on your computer. You won't have to go anywhere and manually damp dampers. As should be, right? So other than that, the chiller steel that goes on top of the kitchen, the chiller holds the chiller. That came in yesterday. We're putting that, craning that on the kitchen Monday. Crane will be there at 6, 7 in the morning. That should be all done, lock, stock, and barrel by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And the roofer will finish his roofing it in. It won't affect anybody. I know there's big business going on Monday in the school, but it won't affect anybody. By Friday, we'll be 100% out of the classrooms. Unless there's a last thing that somebody has to go and tweak control-wise. The locker rooms, there's 12 diffusers that were on back order, and I mean diffusers, the air handling diffusers. Those are aluminum because of the moisture in locker rooms. You always want to put aluminum in there rather than steel so they don't rust. And those were on back order, but they shipped yesterday. So there will be air moving in there Friday. You guys can use it, but we're leaving a tile out. And the flex is just going to hang below air. So there's air moving, but the fusers might not get in until Tuesday. So there's 12 of those. Other than that, classroom will be done. Like I say, this Friday they should be 99.9% done. They might have to go back and tweak the damper because we always have to do our balancing. And sometimes they have to go back and forth, get the air just right, or a water valve just right. Today we got 95% of all the tiles put up in all the classrooms and hallways. You saw if you were in the school, there was a bunch of those missing from all of our work. We got most of those put up. So I think we're doing good. Well, I know we are. There'll be a couple people on the roof after school starts. I think you guys are already prepared for that. insulators, insulating pipe, finishing. The mezzanine air handler is almost probably 85% pipe. So we're doing good. Ron's good. We're ahead of schedule, so that's good.
What about the high school gym? Will that be air conditioned or not?
It will not be air conditioned as far as chilled air.
All right.
But like I say, when I get there, now like tonight when I left to come up here, it's warm. The kids are in there playing volleyball, it's warm.
We knew that. Okay.
But at least
I'm excited when you said we were ahead of schedule.
There's air movement. And I found out that chiller will be here first week of November. So unless sometimes we get a phone call that's early, but that hasn't happened for a few years that it's been early. Since COVID this way, nothing's been early. So we'll work with when your kids have vacation for Thanksgiving or whatever type of vacation. That's when they put that on the roof, so we don't disturb. Because we're gonna block off that parking lot. So
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks. Any questions?
And just a point of information that I'll give out in case you are asked by a community member about the gymnasium and everything in there. The cost of the district would have been at least 60 to 120 if we had rented the chillers for both places. Because there were 2 chillers that would be needed, and that just to rent them for a couple of months, I just couldn't justify doing that. You know.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you
very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Drive safe.
Okay. All right. Board member reports. We might as well start over here with Mr. Morgan. Nothing.
Nothing to report.
Yeah. Nothing. Greg?
Nothing to report.
Nikki?
Just signed teacher contract, so that's exciting. As a kind of follow through from negotiations. That's all I have so far.
Okay. Well, I got nothing. All right. High school principal.
Yes, sir. I was reading through, trying to remember what I wrote a while ago. Things are going pretty well. Summer's always really busy, and this time of year is really kind of full swing. All kinds of stuff is going on with all of our leadership groups coming back. So you have your PLC leaders, your GBIS teams, you have your building leadership teams. All those groups are coming in multiple weeks before school. So if you see people who are in those roles, make sure you thank them, because they are really kind of starting 3 weeks before kids get there. And that's kind of to help develop what are our building goals and everything else that we're going to be addressing as the school year goes. As far as focal points for the high school this year, when we gathered all of our data from end of the year, 90+% of it looked phenomenal. Attendance was great. We had very good results as far as how are people feeling about progress that's being made. That one piece was kind of lagging. We talked about it in the last one, was that behavior is kind of just staying the way it is. It's not really improving, it's not getting worse, but it's also not getting better. And the one piece that staff kind of reflected on is that they're not being super consistent from day to day, classroom to classroom. So that's really going to be our focal point this year, is making sure that we have consistent behavior expectations and then response to the students who don't meet them. So that'll really be kind of the big piece we're looking at for the high school level as far as a building goal and things that we're really going to be stressing on our DD days and putting a lot of time and effort into. In terms of other things, we had the newsletter went out on Monday, kind of talking through some of the big items, but really the big thing that people need to be aware of as far as students is that heating and air conditioning piece, that there is no active cooling during the high school until November when that chiller arrives. So yes, we're sucking in the cool air at night. You're going to have big temperature swings during the day though, because like I said, it might be 65 or 70 in the morning. And with 1,000 people in that building, it's going to heat up to probably about 85 by the end of school. So you're going to have a good 15, 20 degree swing in temperature. It's also going to vary depending on which part of the building you're in. Because some parts will have cooling, and others won't. So you could walk into your 5th hour classroom and it could be a nice 72 in there. If you go to your 6th hour classroom and it's 85. So making sure that people are aware that press and layers is going to be a little bit different and as you're going throughout the building. As far as staffing, we are almost completely full. The one piece that is still a struggle is that building is ready to spot. So we have not had any qualified applicants all summer long. I've reached out to anyone and everyone that I know, ranging from Press Builders Association to TUMA, which is kind of the tri-state area. I reached out to there's only 2 colleges in Wisconsin that are graduating people in tech ed. It's Stout and Platteville. Reached out to, Bluff County Collaborative, reached out to anyone and everyone that I know. I reached out to User Brothers, every local business in the area as well. But no one had anyone who could apply. So we're trying. I don't know what we'll see in a week and a half, but
Did you try the labor union?
yep.
I just think of current people that
Mhm.
need desk work or
Right,
whatever,
right.
maybe a candidate.
Yep.
to do that.
So if anyone knows of anyone, we have to go to a part-time position because they're only comfortable doing, carpentry work. Or maybe they're only comfortable doing welding. Or do a part-time, anything better than nothing. But that's really kind of the big piece that's hanging out there is that we just don't have any applicants.
So you check with your area high school principal and see if they've already done that.
Houston's had a position posted for 2 years. They haven't been able to fill. I mean, it's an area that there aren't people. It's really what it comes down to. So if you hear of anyone who used to be a carpenter and they're retired now and they might be willing to do like a 3 hours a day, it's better than nothing. So yeah, that's kind of the one that just haven't had any luck whatsoever. So that's really the only big down pieces. Otherwise, things are going great. Staff are excited to have people back. It'd be nice to have all of the boxes and ceiling tiles and old vents and everything else out of the hallways and kids into it. Kids are a lot more fun. So that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Middle school update.
Okay.
Middle school is not here.
Middle school, yes, so if you click on the middle school update, I don't have access to it, I think you loaded it onto the document. Oh, okay, I can do it.
I assume we can.
You can read that at your leisure.
Alice little fans or something for the high school class.
Do you have something you want to comment on that?
Can we get a pallet of pedestal fans or something?
We have some fans. Yep. We'll
Buy
try
some
to
more.
spread them out. That'd be excellent.
That, maybe we can get out ahead of it.
He's asking fans for classroom. I don't know how many we have. Most.
On that end, on the far end side or something?
Most of the high school. Yep.
How many classrooms are there?
You want me to add in middle school as well?
No, just the classrooms that are affected.
I think middle school isn't going to have much air either.
Oh.
So I would say we're probably talking.
That's fine.
Probably 35 classrooms. That's a very rough guess.
So I guess no middle school update. We did it at our leisure, so we'll skip that.
One of the things I did want to just have a little bit of time is how to do the 3-pager. She apologized in advance because it was long, but she's new and she wanted to introduce herself and let everyone know what was going on. So
Fair enough.
Should we maybe just touch for public about the varying days for the 7th? What is it? 5th and 6th grade start one day, 7th and 8th grade is the only start.
I think 8th is the only one affected.
8th grade is the half in there.
Is that in the reports?
No, it was in an email earlier. Val, would you have any information on that?
Regarding the
8th grade start date.
Good start.
The first half is the first day, and then the second half is the next. It's based on homeroom.
Two homeroom teachers the first day, I don't know which ones. It is.
Oh, here we go.
They're having leadership training.
I think they wanted to work with smaller groups.
Because there were leaders of that section of the building, so they wanted to work in smaller groups. I have it up here. If it's okay. Yep. Student registrations recommended and required for students, even though they might already be registered. It does need to get updated through the website or portal, so making sure contacts and all of that information was up to date. Back to school night is August 28th from 5 to 7. It is 1 second. I had it.
I can forward, I just received a copy of this, of the letter, so I can send it to all the board if you want to take a look at it later, start dates. Thank you.
Yes.
Is it linked on the website somewhere too? I'm sure it probably is. I think for the public, I think our internet has come up now, but I'm still struggling to get a couple of these things done.
Okay, so pardon me. Tuesday, September 3rd is the first day for all students, 5, 6, and 7. 8th start Tuesday the 3rd for those that are assigned to Mr. Ryan and Ms. Joes for advisory. Wednesday, September 4th are for Mr. Shippey and Ms. Barnes' advisory class.
And that will be on the website? Okay. All right. I think we can move on to elementary. Jeff?
Sure. Some information there about hiring. We've got some fantastic new folks and many applicants, which was great. That's something we've seen a trend is people are applying to work here, and we're glad for that. Same thing as Jacob kind of talked about, that we've got teacher leaders that are largely returning to their same roles, and so we're looking forward to strong results as they continue to lead their teams. Something to celebrate there. The PLC leaders, or the PBIS team, we call it the Lancer Way team. For the second year in a row, we've been deemed exemplary because we've achieved very strong fidelity in implementation of all the PBIS aspects. And so we again applied for that, were awarded it, and we're going to be what's called an ambassador school. So we're going to be tasked with spreading what works here to the greater state of Minnesota. And one of the things that recently happened was there was a statewide webinar to celebrate the student PBIS schools, of which we are one of 37 in the entire state, and in terms of districts that have exemplary schools, and one of 78 sites that are exemplary out of all of the schools in the entire state. So there's people at MPE that are pretty excited about that as well, and specifically the Commissioner of Education noted that our elementary school was on the forefront of doing this culturally responsive work and spreading what we're doing to our entire system, which is kind of a big deal. So there's some pictures there that show that, and so we're somewhat famous. Yeah, there's a Commissioner of Education. I just did a snapshot of it. And this where we're meeting right now was air conditioned and hosted the summer community theater. So this building was used a ton, and a lot of great things happening all summer long. So we're pretty proud of that. So thank you again for this beautiful space.
Well, and the last 40 years.
Hey, they should make it right.
You guys have all the staff back, are you working on some welcome back videos to put on social media?
I think for back to school night, we'll have a photo booth, and that's the idea, is to spread the back to school fever. So yeah. Tuesday night, 5 to 6:30 right here, so. Thank you, Jeff. Any questions for Jeff on his update? Okay. So, next up, community ed?
Betcha.
Hey, community ed.
All right. It's been a wild summer. You know, trying to pack everything in this building. We've had all of our sports teams holding their open gyms over here to stay out of the way of construction. We've had a great summer in community ed. This weekend, you can see two separate full casts perform Kids on Stage. The Schoolhouse Rocks Live Junior. So we had so many kids, we literally had to add a whole second cast. So that's a great problem that we've had, and they're over at the performance will be in the auditorium. So it will be warm, but it will be very well done. Big news for us is you probably heard that John Steffes retired from his position as Park Director from the City of La Crescent. The city approached Community Ed and asked if we would be willing to take over offering some of the rec offerings, such as including tennis, basketball, volleyball, golf, and t-ball. And we have accepted. LYB, La Crescent Youth Ball, will be taking over the 6, 7, and 8-year-old recreational baseball programs, and then the city's moving forward with hiring a full-time aquatics manager. So, exciting times, and we'll be working together so that even people signing up for swimming lessons can make no promises, but we're working on it, and that we could hypothetically be their credit card processor for that. So happy to work with our community to keep those great programs alive. Discovery Preschool, we are expecting 75 littles on the first day of school. We have 3 full sections of 4K and 2 full sections of 3K with just 1 spot left in 3K. So, due to these record preschool numbers, we needed to seek an off-site location for our weekly early childhood family ed classes. That's what Card Schwartzoff leads, does the parent ed part, and then Katie Wolf is our child teacher for that. So we're special thanks to our friends at United Methodist Church and the Crescent Public Library for being willing to take us on Friday mornings so we can keep that growing program going too. We've had great participation the last 2 years, and we hope to keep that rolling. And fall catalogs heads to print on Friday, so they'll be in the mailboxes probably the second week of September. And 2 more days of limited Kids Go left, and then we are done for the summer. We've averaged about 140 kids a day. It's been wild. That's good. Yep.
Dang, that was a whole lot of good news.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
And on a side note, you did that little flyer up for my wife for the soccer thing. She always finds it fun every week. She said that thing was perfect. She's very happy with how that thing is.
I know.
She said that was perfect. It did great.
I will pass it.
I have a very short attention span. And I looked at it, I'm like, I could figure it out right away where the kids are supposed to go.
Jody does amazing
work. Well done.
With the city, that's great that we're helping them. Do we have capacity for it, and are they compensating us for it?
So they will not be providing us with compensation, but it'll become like we'll have a recreation section, youth recreation section in our community catalog. So we'll charge the same fees. We'll restructure the fees. We won't have the in-town and out-of-town because we're obviously all just the district. So it'll just be one flat fee for everyone, and we'll make sure that we're breaking even like we have to for all of our programs.
So then we will collect.
Yep.
So we're taking over.
Yep.
Oh. Then we have to staff the program as well.
True, and we are actually working with the city to, I want to make sure that all of the current rec staff get offered the positions first to keep the positions. There's a lot of them are high schools that have done this, or college students that have come back to do it every year.
How many positions are we talking?
Oh, plenty. At least 2 to 3 per sport.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. And then the fantastic news on the 3 and 4K. I mean, this is how we train people to come to La Crescent, and we're your one-stop shop, right? What will that translate? I mean, is it 50-50 between 3K and 4K?
No, because we have 2 sections of 3K and 3 sections of 4K.
And historically, what has
48 of those kids go to kindergarten next year. If baseline, yeah. So that's
we get the majority of those kids will
as long as they're not extenuating circumstances like the parents won't have them do another year of preschool or something.
Sure, no problem.
That's about the number we're setting on this year.
And what's our kindergarten number up to?
66 or 67?
Okay, and what did we start last year at, 64?
No, 53.
Okay, so good news, good news training is running.
We had 8 red shirts last year, which was, that didn't happen this year as much.
Yeah. That's what
Eric, you've exhausted all your questions.
Okay. Thank you. Patrick, I'm assuming you still have the same title. All right, go ahead.
I don't know what his role is.
You can summarize it.
I think the first part is both Apex and areas where there will be no air conditioning because of the chiller delay. They talked about dampers being manually opened, and I'll have control by next Wednesday, Thursday. And then there was a project that we did this summer. The high school had some new windows installed. They were old, and some of them were broken. Some things were busted. Light fixtures in the middle school were all upgraded to LED. And next year we're planning on doing the high school portion. So we should have most of the building, about 90% of the building have LED lighting. We might have to push for more because the state of Minnesota is now not allowing fluorescent sale or sale of fluorescent bulbs. I think that's going to be like a year or two mandated thing from the state. Robots, the JV football and soccer fields. The soccer field is painted for, I believe, tomorrow night's scrimmage. And
Question on that. Are we renting that out?
Have we rented it already? Yeah. Okay.
You want to field in your backyard? Is that what you're asking?
Okay.
There's just been a lot of stuff going on this summer. As you can see, we're down 3 full-time custodians, and actually more realistically, it's 4 right now because Jonathan's had surgery. Hopefully he's back next week or Thursday at school. I think there's some pictures to show some maybe that's the schedule. We got the updated schedule tonight. That's the media center and furniture for Carson.
Oh, I can't wait to have a meeting in there.
Yeah, I thought that was right.
Yeah, we're going back. Well, the plan is to go back there for September, start of the school year.
House Wednesday next week.
Looks nice.
Yeah,
Looks inviting.
it's very nice. It looks fabulous. And part of the intro or the community letter that I wrote in the community flyer will go through this and have hot links to the community to go to see all of the pictures and all of the construction projects. And I did a real short little sweet summary of what are the construction projects and what are we doing. And it also identifies that we had, what was it? 2,500 new books that we put in there.
Did you have an assistant? Do you still need assistants?
It's all set.
Putting it together? Okay.
Yep, we got it all set, so. I just have a question with the area in the locker rooms that isn't gonna be done. We're gonna have kids in there. Is there any way we can protect, if you said there's gonna be like lines that'll be blowing air, or are they gonna be, I'm just worried the kids will damage them.
This should be fine. There's gonna be, it's all the ceiling tiles all being put back next week. I don't have the most
He said that tile wouldn't be there around where the dampeners were on back order. So there's there's like sections that'll be open because the dampeners won't be in and the lines will just be hanging exposed. He said the tile will be left out until the teasers are installed on Tuesday. So before school.
The shipper's good to go before first day of school.
Yep.
We have games next week. So the locker room is years before school.
Jump off.
Make sure they're protected.
Okay.
They're open right now. Yeah. Well, they're actually or fair.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions for Patrick?
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
And thank you to the custodial staff for picking up the slack.
All two of you.
Do we have a price of what that robot out for? In case other schools ask?
Maybe $1,500, $2,000, just depends on what they did, or something like that, it might be closer to 2. But we bought all the paint, so we own the paint, and we have to include that in the rental.
I was just curious in case other districts ask.
I mean, is that competitive? Or, I mean, how did you price that?
What did you say, Pat?
Well, you gotta figure labor.
Oh, I know.
Labor, paint is, I don't recall how much all this was. We ordered by the pallet, so that's all included in it. I think it was down $3,000, but that's included in the rent. I read that per year. I don't know. We have to somehow
Well, I know
when
when we looked last year, and I can get the information to everyone about pricing for that because, and I'm thinking it was around 2,000 a crack that we would charge other schools. And when I looked at it, Pat and I sat with Dana, and when we had rented one before, had someone come in and do it, that was what the company was. And so we're just looking at what are those competitive numbers, what's the what has been increases in costs, because inflation has happened everywhere. And then looking at a raw of if we send one of our people, what's their time worth and what's. So I'm thinking it's right around 2,000.
Yeah.
A couple of local ones, very interested, it's just that I don't just can't get up there.
Yeah.
So there's physically, for sure. But
Are we gonna be able to take care of snow removal and
snow removal, that's contract.
lawn care? We're doing lawns now, right? Okay.
I got some.
I got the sunburn to prove it.
Well, that's too bad our director has to mow lawns.
Gotta help out.
Yeah.
Keep it looking
I'd rather pay somebody $15 an hour to go do that. Well, anyway.
My son was been helping out.
Okay.
And then there was a couple other students helpers in different areas. So.
I think I might have missed a meeting, but why did we lose lawn care? Do you mind me asking? I don't mean to pick a scab.
When you
We had it all together. Yeah, what
when
did
we
happen?
proposed it, we had a full time. We had custodians. We had 4 more custodians. We're still able to do it.
Sure.
I mean, we're keeping up.
So you just said that you don't have time physically to go line a field somewhere, so you don't have it.
May I address this?
If it's pertinent.
It is, yes. That's all right. When we decided to go away from the lawn care to doing it in-house, we were told by Pat that we had enough staff to do the lawn care. We asked that numerous times, and that was told that we would. That is why it was okay. And we said that there were specific staff that were to be on the mowers. And that was understood by Pat, that was what Mindy directed, and that is what we okayed in the finance office for that switch. I should make sure that we know that is what was done when we made the switch. We directed who could be on the mowers, was all understanding, and we looked at the cost of how much it would save, and we had a full staff.
Sure. Yeah.
Any other questions for Patrick?
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. If you're not seeing activities director,
He's a
On his
Second here.
yeah, he's just on his way between 6:30 and 6:45.
so you okay to table him? Sure. We'll table. All right. Superintendent.
All right. Okay, so taking a look, I linked in a few things in here. There are a couple more things that I'm actually going to cover something a little later when Terry is here also, because we had a really cool thing going on with football. Ready Bus, we moved away. We had problems with Ready Bus the last couple of years in the fact that our paraprofessionals would ride the bus, and it just caused a hitch in the giddy up, because if they couldn't go, we wouldn't know until later, later than what we needed to get another person to ride it. And the morning routes were really hard. And so because Ready has everything functional there, and they are there with the buses right away in the morning, and someone would call in sick, it just made sense to put it there. And special ed transportation costs like that are 100% funded. And so whether we're paying it through them or paying it through the district, and everyone should have their savings all the time. The school calendar piece, I linked in new school calendars and consent agenda for you to take a look at. One of the things that came up, and everyone that looked at it missed it, and I'm not exactly sure how we missed it, but instead of so teachers do like 10 hours of training in the summer, and then we have the 2 days of conferences, and then we've got workshop days in there. Teachers' days are supposed to add up to 185. The way our calendars were approved, they were 186. 186 days. So what the suggestion and proposal is to modify one of those days in February, so when we have a teacher work day, like the third Monday in February, we also give the second Friday off in February, so families get a 4-day weekend. And so it falls right around that mid part of February for each of the years. So there's a scan in there, and I put that up. Because of the hours people work in the summer that were counted as their days, that's where we missed it, because that wasn't represented on there before. Negotiations, our next meeting is the first week of September on 9/4 with MSEA. We're making good progress. I'm hoping that we'll be able to tighten that up fairly soon. Hiawatha Valley Mental Health, I met with our administrative team and our student support team with them, and we're reviewing what they're doing and how they're doing things and what they're going to do in the room and what they can offer for us, and it was a great opportunity to hear more of what we can use to benefit our kids. Sub rates, you'll see that we are doing an increase in sub rates. That's one of the items that I'd like you to approve. Moving teacher sub rates up to $150 a day, and then moving all of the support staff sub rates from $14.25 to $15 an hour. I was waiting to see if we had MSEA settled so I could base it off of that. We might have to do it again if we look at it, but I think 15 is going to be more competitive. Staff handbook, there's a link there, and it's in draft form right now because there are going to be things that need to be added. Mandy and I were just talking today about a few things that we need to outline so that staff know what the process is to do that. So you can take a look at that. I also went to a webinar about board handbook. The MSBA has put together a template, board handbook template, and so I've linked that in there for you to take a look at. And there's also a recording. Sorry, I don't know why I stumbled over that word. There's also a recording you can watch online, and I put that link in there too. It's about an hour webinar. Originally we had insurance renewal on here, but that won't happen for a few months yet. insurance renewal, the RFPs went to the company at the beginning of August.
March complaint?
Yes. And they're getting them out to other companies. And I think we're hoping that we'll get bids from Health Partners, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and PEEP, and we could get some others too, to try and see if we can get a good competitive bid. And then I just went down on the bottom and just put some dates in there because things happen fast, and I'm just gonna kind of try and keep that up to add things in there, but we're up through January right now on the board items to remember. And if anyone would like to stop at the back to school work day on August 27th, or August 26th, you're more than welcome. We're having it in the cafeteria to begin with, and then going down to the auditorium. And we will have a full breakfast there. So Terry from the kitchen and her crew is catering.
What day of the week is that?
That's a Monday.
Next Monday.
Next Monday at about 7:30.
And there's something at the elementary on Friday, correct? This Friday?
That's this Friday, yeah.
Friday morning?
Mentor mentee. I'm leading a tour for new teachers this Friday at 8.
Yeah, an invitation went out for the board.
Yep.
The middle school principal.
It'll be a walk through here, and then we'll do the rest of mentor mentee in the other building. Yep.
Ours was 7:30 to 9.
And then,
Neither? Okay, well,
and then,
takes a village.
last but not least, and should have been first and foremost, but I just jumped into this, I want to take an opportunity to introduce you to the new admin assist at the district office, if you haven't met her yet. Mandy Lenser has been great. She's been working with us since a week ago Monday. So, and it's going to be a great team. It's been nothing but wonderful things. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome.
Trey, a meat and cheese would happen to go wrong.
I'm telling you, the smoke day.
Make it up. All right. We're going to get to you with your update and the football thing. So I'm assuming you're going to do football as well.
Whenever.
All right.
Just
We're
go.
gonna
You just put me on.
All right. Well, let's start then with the next ones then for the review and informational items for the board self-evaluation.
Okay. Darcy, do you want to talk to that first? I've got paper copies here. I typed up the sample evaluation that was given to us by TeamWorks. Yep, the same group that did our strategic plan.
That was the email that came out today, right?
Yep.
I filled it out already.
Nice job. High five.
If you can't fill it out online, here is a paper copy.
It may take, I've done, yes, it should take probably 3 minutes of your time, and then Mindy will get all of the results. They are anonymous, and you just fill it in how you feel you've been doing, and...
Nikki, did you have a question? Did you have your hand up?
I didn't want to interrupt Darcy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will say, I just kind of fumbling around in there because I like to be that. I'm not the most techy person ever, because I tend to break things. So I wanted to see if I could break it. Not on purpose, but when you click that back button on that survey, some of your answers really range. So you do need to review everything if for some reason you're going back on that. Because I noticed some were still populated, but you had to re-answer the other questions. So just be aware of that when you're in that survey.
Okay, all right.
Yep. That's all.
So you put this together.
Thank you, Darcy.
Typed it.
No, thank you.
Yep. Yeah. It was a lot of typing. It was a lot of typing. I appreciate you doing it. Thanks. Yeah, so we can put that together, maybe we can talk about goals and make ourselves a better board.
Fair enough. All right, thank you. Budget update.
Okay, so that budget update link, that is the one that shows the monthly revenue and expenditure. So we're in the first month of our new fiscal year, and we have some more journal entries that have to be done before our audit. So those numbers are pretty skewed because some numbers will change from the end of June to the beginning of July with the journal entries we have to make. And that's all school districts that usually have that, and that is going to be the way it is every July when we have a meeting. So that one is not there. Now I did get a balance sheet. There are some numbers that are a little better that are going to change for sure just because of those ending June numbers, but it's not quite as skewed, so I did put that on there. If you want to scroll to the bottom for me, Andy, we can see that we're sitting at about a 26.86 fund balance. That is probably going to be a little bit lower at the end of June 30th, which will then make it a little bit lower in July. Just because of some of those journal entries that aren't done yet. Audit is in 4 weeks, and so next month you should have, this should be pretty close to how it's going to be for the end of June. If you want to scroll back up just a little bit for me, there we go. You can see on the, all the way up, sorry. You can see at the very top our cash on hand there. You can see where our community ed and our construction fund are negative. Don't be alarmed by that. Again, that's some journal entries of money that needs to be put in different spots. A couple of processes that we're going to change in community ed. Beth and I had a great conversation today about how we're going to change how we do that monthly, and I have been in contact with the Winona Auditor Treasurer to make sure I get those reports, so I'm able to get that more reflective of when those dollars come in. So that's why that shows negative. And then the construction fund, those are, if you see the investments below, that's a journal entry that'll happen at audit time, that'll move the investment money up there to the cash. So that's why it shows negative above, but you really need to net those two out. So don't be alarmed by those. And then the debt service, the same thing. When we get money in from the county, it all goes into one pot and needs to be divvied out, and that journal entry is not done. So that's why that's negative too. So don't be alarmed by those. We're sitting really well, as you can see by the end. Ending fund balance. Our beginning of the month has been great. Our administrators and all of our leaders are really taking to heart to stay within the budget. So that's really going well. I've been getting a ton of emails asking questions, and that's what we want to do, is have conversations and questions. So it's hats off to everybody because it's been really good. So
is the audit early this year, or is it normally in the summer?
So last year we did it actually the last week of August, but then didn't get it finished until a lot later because it was a person that had been in the career a very long time, and he did everything hand or paper or pen to paper. And so now we're going to do a new auditor because he retired, and they do everything computerized. So I just upload everything to the portal, and so in 4 weeks we'll have our 1 week audit. I think they'll probably do it all virtual is what it sounds like. And then the next 2 weeks they take to internally make sure that it goes through the levels of accountants there to make sure everything's okay. And then they will turn around, and I believe we have them on the October meeting. I think is when we'll have our, last year was December. We should have it by the October meeting. I think is when this yeah. And I am right now in the process of this auditor that we have. I now have 3 districts with, and I'm in the process. My first district has their audit next week, so kind of a little test run with the auditor. So that'll be great for us because I'll get all those kinks out with this first district, and it should go a lot easier. So, yeah.
Thanks, Julie.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Let's go back to YouTube, because I think we got skipped you. Any updates from our student or education Minnesota rep? Sure don't want to talk, student?
I'm representing the student body this year, yes, and President of St. Elizabeth this year was here.
Okay.
We're happy.
Good to have you.
Thank you. It'll be a treat for you guys to get to know her. Great. Yes.
Does anybody have any questions for me? With me being new here.
What activities are you in?
That's a long list.
Say your favorite then, Dean.
Okay. I feel like I have to say student council.
Really?
I'm here
Cool.
in student council, but I don't know. I enjoy them all. I really like FCCLA and also the student advisory committee. I've been on the past 2 years. It's fun. Yeah.
What are you running?
Yeah. So I'm trying to grab my spot.
Well, welcome.
Thank
So we'll
you.
be seeing you all year?
Yes, you should be.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
All right. Coach.
Thank
Tim,
you.
any update on football presentation?
Yeah, first of all, when I started our board report, I had, just because I wasn't here in the summer meeting, so I started with a quick recap of our spring on there, what our baseball and golf teams did, and our track team. One of the things I want to thank Abe, Mark Abraham for his years of service in track. He's still coaching cross country this year. And the nice thing on there is, as way out, he had Brooklyn Mitchell, who had never thrown a shot before, got fourth place in the state, which is incredible. And then with a team GPA of 3.797 on the girls' side, which is great. So I mean, Abe does everything the right way. So we're really glad that he's still on the side. I'm sure he's going to be involved in some track somehow. But then 396 on the boys' side. So great job with that. On there, I just had softball had some numbers issues and some other issues that we have addressed. And as an activities department, we're going to be holding sometime in the fall, like a town hall meeting to address any of the concerns with the stakeholders, being the parents and the players and everything. Because the one thing is we do not want, and then I'll have the coach involved. So one thing is we want to have a place where all our kids want to play, feel welcome, and can come and do it. So as important as that is, we're going to kind of hit this thing head on and make sure that we're going forward in the right direction for all the stakeholders there. We got everything kicked off. That's why I'm late tonight, so I apologize. We had practice tonight. Things are going pretty good on all the fall ends here. If we go to I'll get participation at the end down here. And the numbers were a little below. So a couple of things that we have to look at coming up in the winter is gymnastics. As much as we did everything, the girls did things to save last year. It's very unlikely that we are going to have any numbers this year to be able to do that. But I am in contact right now with Caledonia because I know we have some girls, and again, we have to have a meeting with all of these people. But I'm trying to make sure we have a place to land there to be able to be in the state high school league. So I think that is they're trying to get some approval on their end. But that looks like it's going to be our best option. We might only have 3 girls this year. So the work was not in vain last year, just didn't work out. And then the other one in the wintertime, our hockey team, because we are growing in hockey and Ryan has done a great job here, we're looking at adding a JV hockey team. So there is some extra added cost in this. We'd have to have an extra coach at the JV level because we'd have an extra team just like anybody else does. And depending on that person's experience, that would be in the $2,500 to $3,000 range for somewhere in that ballpark. We have extra games. The ice bill shouldn't change. I think the ice bill will stay the same for practices and the way they can utilize that. But we will have now an extra, I think it's 12 or 14 home games because now JV will be home. And on that, we're not getting charged for the ice, but we are getting charged for officials. So somewhere in that $2,000 range, they have 2 officials on the ice for the JV thing. But it is the next logical step in our program, and we would love to have them in that. Now with that, we will get 12 to 14 kids, which will bring in some revenue. Not quite enough to cover it, but we would get $1,500 to $1,800 in registrations, which would help offset some of that. And then we had a co-op kid last year from Blair Taylor High School in Wisconsin, so he'll be back this year. So that
I gotta get the exact dollar. That, and then there's a student athlete from Houston that skated in our youth organization that wants to come over and co-op, so we got co-op started on that, as long as we'll have board approval. So he would also be able to chip into that, and then Uriah sent me something today, there's actually a kid from Lansing, Iowa that's looking to co-op. And again, they're paying their own way to get here. So if that can, I gotta see the Blair Taylor one had an agreement with Winona at one time from out of state, so we have to see if we can get that with Iowa. But with those three kids now, which happened since this was tight, that actually could almost fund the JV team itself. So to me, just like any other sport that we have, is just the next evolution in our hockey program, and we're hoping to have a girls team within 4 years. So, yeah.
Is there an entry fee to those games, and so does that reinforce that as well, or?
Well, they'll all play right before the varsity. So it all goes. And we don't get that because the youth runs it. Through, the youth runs hockey through the city, they keep the gate fees for that. So we don't necessarily get that, or our booster club doesn't get concessions down there. So but we don't run anything either. So and they're really, really good on our ice bills. So I mean, we get pretty cheap ice compared to a lot of it.
If we co-op with you, we have to call the press.
Well, in our agreement, that's gonna be in our agreement. That we do not.
I have a question regarding our state players, and this is just me because I'm really seeking to understand. That does not end up getting labeled or considered recruiting.
No, and this kid came, they came, we have an email chain, they came to us. There was by no means.
I'm just making sure, because I had a family issue with that same situation that happened with our own people before. So just making sure. I was just
this would not recruit one bit.
Okay.
And we have changed. So like for instance, one Blair Taylor, they were going to be in with Winona, but if they pull up with Winona, it would put Winona into 2A. So Winona pushed them out because it would have put their enrollment too high, and then they couldn't do it in a couple of Wisconsin schools. They got shot. We were like the 6th school they came to. So and my belief, same as Rise, and I know Jacob would stand by this as well. We want to get kids out. So that's how that came about there. The one that came up today, again, one of the things is we're going to have some interest in our community because of Uriah. Like our hockey program is built. Uriah is amazing. And there's going to be people that will either move in to our community or seek to want to go up with us to have the experience to play for. Yeah. Open enrollment. We're going to get a lot of that over the next several years, which is an absolute gem to have in our case.
There's almost no area with a town our size that has their own standalone hockey team.
Well, that's the one thing when you say that now that we're co-op, because we didn't need the number. We're getting 3 kids or 2 kids.
One kid here, but I mean, in this area, we are very unique on that. All Wisconsin, they're always combining with somebody else. So if we bring 1 or 2 kids over, fantastic.
And Wade, even where I came from Casa Manorville. And Dodge County consisted of Casa Manorville, which is twice our size, not quite, 660 kids, and Byron 650, and a couple other ones. So I mean, with that, it is unique the size town we have to sustain ourselves. That's why it's so cool that we actually have the opportunity to go JV with this.
All right.
And then I just have the numbers for the signups as of, I think this is as of Monday. Totals on the site, I got each grade, and then I do have what our totals, and that's what we're on the left there, the 2023 total. So it kind of tells you where we are this year as opposed to last year on all of our sports. And some of them, we're a little down on junior high and sports, so we just we'll kind of keep an eye on that. So both soccer's down in junior high, so we'll try to figure out where we're where we're at.
where we're at. We want to
But I think overall we have
276 students as well
for the fall.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harry, you have another presentation?
I don't know if I necessarily have a presentation. I think, and Mindy, and I kind of, here it is. So,
I asked Harry opened up this opportunity, and Mandy and I went and watched. I was there for part of it. Mandy was there for the entire time. So I asked her if she would put together something for the board to see, because this was one of the coolest speakers, one of the greatest things that I have seen happen in a school. Pretty much throughout my career. It was outstanding. And our kids sat there with their eyes about this big to begin with.
So a little background here is Cam Campbell here is somebody, like I wouldn't be here working, honestly, and we've talked with Mindy and Peter. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't have gotten involved with USA Football and took the journey I did the last decade. And Cam is actually one of my colleagues there that I have. So I've known him for about a decade, and he's just like a super interesting man. He's written a couple different books. One of them is Redefining the Alpha Male. Like, so I mean, when you look at him, he's kind of redefined himself. He's 6'6", played football at the University of Houston, but like this is one of the most thoughtful people that you would ever meet in your life, one of the wisest people. So his 7 fights that he came in, and I think that what we try to do in our football program is our whole thing is creating better human beings. So we try to give them something that maybe is a little out of what they see every day. In his 7 fights that every man must master: who am I? Why am I here? Who is my maker? What is my best? How do I provide? How do I create? Who do I love? Now, there was, because of this, Darcy would have gotten he did get into a little spirituality. Not anything religious, but because of this, I talked to Jacob because I knew there would be a little bit in this. And we did send out something ahead of time saying that it would be if anybody had any concerns. It wasn't going to get any specific religion at all. He kind of wanted people to think in a higher being, so Mandy would have gotten it. So we did send out a preface for that for anybody if it was going to be a concern. He didn't get too deep into it. Mandy, you sat in there. Mostly it was about, but he made kids make this, talking about making up their own mind, how do you love, I think, for all the guys that were sitting in there and to get their mind opened up. At one point, he talked about, and this is a guy that he's a 6'6" African male, that he talked about how me and him love each other. And I think that was something cool for our kids to see, because it's not every man came from 2 different worlds. He came from the inner city of Houston. And to be able to show, his whole message isn't anything that we really are different talking about. And for them to see this and be able to talk to them on their level, I thought was pretty impactful. We do have a couple of board members and kids in there. So 4 of the kids, 3 of the board members and 4 kids in there. And I do think it's impactful. That's kind of what we're trying to have our football players spread. I would love to do something more like this, wider base and everything too, but it kind of fits into what our mission of our football program is, and honestly the mission of our activities.
Yeah.
My 8th graders have referenced his speech a couple of times.
Did he? Give me an example. What did they like about it?
Oh, I can't remember, but one of them did something, and he was like, "I let myself down," and he just referenced some of the wording that he used, and how he needs to look at it from here on out.
It was cool too, because he talked. He kind of got into a lot of different topics, and one of them was how social media, is kind of geared to skew towards your point of view, and some of the stuff in social media. Sorry. We had all kinds of looking around. We had 4 parents for 5 teams. Andrew surprised me every day. I'm sorry, I missed that. But he talked about not, making up your own decision, because they're doing some of this stupid stuff on here on somebody he mentioned somebody's name and I didn't know the name. And all the kids kind of snapped their head around because they were eating pizza at the time. And when they did that, he was able to tell them, this guy's telling these things, and you can't just blindly listen to that. Make up your own mind. He talked about what it is to be their best every day. And then he even got into some deep stuff, and he was talking about providing, you know, what it, so he got into, he covered about as wide a spectrum of these kids, and talked their lingo. So I thought it was great. I obviously have great respect for this guy. He got to go up and stay with us. And you tell my wife about him for years. So my wife got to meet him and he got to stay with us. It was a really special time.
One thing that I really like too is part of this presentation hasn't happened into journaling us, and so then the boys, they would talk about a subject and the boys would have to journal their thoughts. They may never reference it again, but it made them think about what he had talked about and then do a short reflection on it. That was really cool.
Well, thank you for providing that opportunity. One of the things that I thought was great was on his first one, so I was in there for just about the first of the 7 fights, a little bit into the second. But it was interesting to have this gentleman ask a whole group of high school, middle and high school boys, and I said to Mandy, because I was sitting by her then, who's your, what was the word? It wasn't critic. Who's critical in your life? That's what it was. Who's critical in your life? Okay? And so I leaned over to Mandy and I said, oh, I think you might need to define that a little more for kids, because I'm sitting here as an old lady wondering, do you mean like who's critical of me, or who's critical that I couldn't, I have a hard time living without? I said, for me, it's the easy answer. It's mom. I mean, both questions can answer the same way. but and then as the kids were going through and doing this, they were saying, other people. And then he brought the conversation around to, what about that voice in your head? And then the kids started getting it that I'm the person who's most critical of me. And that's kind of, when you said that, I'm thinking that's part of what kind of tied into that. Because we talked about that negative self-talk and how do you bring yourself through it. I was really impressed.
The best part of that was morning football meeting on morning character development was about talking to yourself, listening to yourself. So it was really a lot of stuff was really nice. Yeah.
Is there an opportunity, does he do like masterminds or series where he comes back and does follow-up?
He would gladly come back.
Yeah.
At some point.
Sounds like somebody that would.
Yeah. So interesting enough, how the 7 fights every man must conquer. So one of our master trainers in USA football is a woman that was an ex-football player, and she coaches boys football in Dallas. So the whole every fight man must master. This woman coach went to Cam, and I know it's Tiffany Hill, and she goes, she was struggling with some of the boys in school, and making sure that they're doing some things they shouldn't have been doing. And she said, Cam, I need you to teach me how to be a man. And he's like, what are you talking? And she goes, I'm coaching all these high school boys. You need to be able to help me be able to coach them as a man. And that's how this was born. So he's really wise beyond anything.
Very cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Terry. Any other questions for Terry? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. The consent agenda. Damn. Any discussion? Any discussion on the consent agenda?
No donations this time, I checked on that.
I had a donation report. Yeah,
did you?
Yeah, there's a donation report. I sent you. Oh, I sent you one in the email. Let me get it, and I'll tell you who that is.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Do you mind scrolling down that just to review any retirements or?
So no retirements.
Okay.
The majority of the staff are added, so you can tell that Stephanie's been incredibly busy over the last several weeks. Just working, trying to get that done. So hats off to Stephanie, even though she's not here. And we have one resignation, and that is a paraprofessional from the elementary school.
The donation is, oh, yes, there it is, right there. Pine Creek Golf Course, $300 for the Lancer Locker.
Oh, excellent. All right, thank you, Pine Creek.
Thank you,
Our
Pine
very own. All right, so we have a motion made and seconded for the consent agenda. Any discussion? No discussion. Hearing that, proceed to vote on the consent agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Same sign. Negative. Motion passes for the consent agenda. Action items. Mindy, do you want to talk about calling for the general election?
Yeah. So, pull that up. Can you get to call it the general election one? Oh, where is that? Right there, action item 14. So this is, we will have general election on the on November 5th. It will run in conjunction with all of the other elections and polling places. We will have probably some combined polling places because of our locations. And so we have 5 candidates, and so we need, and we've got 4 openings. So I needed to put 4 write-in spots on there too, along with the candidates that filled out their affidavit of candidacy. And those names are listed on there.
Move to approve. Motion made, seconded by Darcy. Any discussion?
So they don't put incumbent
Nope.
anymore?
No.
It's not alphabetical or?
No, I
by weight or?
It's in order that the affidavit of Richard is how I put it on there, so.
So Eric turned his in last.
But he got his board thing done today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this out. You guys, you wanna write it out to Pine Creek, and then I'll get that sent off too. Just one question. Does the chamber, do you know, did you do the question and answer?
The candidate forum. Yes.
Right.
Yep. So we will be doing that again.
Okay.
Yep. We are currently negotiating our date, but the one that I'm zoning in on is 2 weeks prior to election, which would be the 22nd of October, but their executive director is still on vacation and hasn't confirmed himself. But some of the candidates have been ahead of the game and have asked me when it's going to be planned this year. So we're making sure
22nd of October.
That's what we're zeroing in on, is what we hope. As soon as we have their agreement, it'll be. That's the last thing I'm waiting for the community catalog before we send it to them.
All right. We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Nay, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to sub rates. We talked about this a little bit earlier. We're going up.
Yep. We're going up. $10 a day for teachers and 75 cents an hour for all non-certified.
Move to approve.
Second.
I'm going to give it to Nicole for motion was made and seconded for the new sub rates. Any discussion?
So correct in assuming we do already pay our people at least $15 an hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not yet, but we will.
Not yet, but we are still in negotiation. That is, we're still in negotiation. Yep, absolutely.
And our budget will handle it?
Yes, correct. That is in the budget, because we feel that's important to have that go on.
Sounds great.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay, same sign. Motion passes.
Darcy!
She might be your
No. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Not going to be listened to. Adjourned.
Seconded was, Nothing.
What do I have to do to? Tell me, what do I need to do to wrestle number 50 away from where we're at?
Well done, Sharon. Right here, buddy.
That was an option. I did. Or did little kids whatever I gotta do to get that number. I still want to use on the park.
Thanks for coming. Excellent to have you.
Well, my mom is excellent with the sewing machine. His sister, Tyra, that's what we call her. I'll see Tyra That is something that my mom rides to the channel, but that'll mean a lot to Andrew. He's been super bummed about it. I know.
Like I was there.
I know. And you're like, well, it'll mean a lot to him. So he'll be proud. You graduated from AI? What?
Relative, so I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think they almost moved.
So there you go.
I think they we're not supposed to move. We were a hockey we won. Yeah, absolutely.
Big. Well
The orange one. You just pretend the little one is
You were always a great dad.
want to go travel to.
I don't know why. You know that. Can't believe it. I would love it. We were sites that we didn't make it like the hottest. The boys last year like kept bringing me was it
Greg, you're on top of things today.
Yeah, actually,
Really in a hurry.
and it like
I know. Get to eat dinner before it starts.
I mean, last year, we ground
when they made she right. Having to do something and then getting an assistant to do that and stuff.
I might have one here for more. Okay. You might make me on your ask. We might have one. Yeah. Here's
I like that better. I'll check in the office and see.
If not, just tell me off.
Okay.
Thanks, Wade.
All right. So you can risk.
And I like at least field offers some.
Yeah. I thought that Susan was coming back part-time.
Trying.
Also sad that that room sits July. What about you like?
Train is part-time people.
Originally, I think
Or what about, like, is there someone with a business background that would just need help with run the plants of innovation and teaching?
Well, and that's, yeah, and the piece that, like, for the reason Taps didn't want to do it, and couldn't come in to do it on part-time, is that he said, like, I haven't welded since high school. And I said, well, businesses are willing to come in and support. And he said, well, they're going to be there every day.
No.
It's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do the other 3 days a week or 4 days a week? It's like, well, I mean, you got to be comfortable enough to, and he just wasn't.
Does he have like a strong suit, or he could just offer like? But he didn't want to do part time.
He didn't want to do part time. Yeah. So we can't just create a whole bunch of personal space.
Do you know where those contracts went?
Yeah, I put them in the tote.
Okay, did Wade sign them? No, I don't have them yet. I'll, you know, he just told me to call him. It's call and say, actually, I'll text him right now and say, please schedule the time. I think it took Nikki like, I was going to say it took her forever. And the other thing he told me to do is look around, I think I don't want to look around the school because we might have a name stamp for him. Oh, and if we don't have a name stamp, I would say that might be especially on the rest of the year, or the rest of the, it's 3 months. You did great. And so it all recorded. Yep. Yep. So now we have, does it, we need to just load it up to the internet, right?
Yeah, and that I still don't know what to do, how to do that, but